Everybody watching online, and I'd just like to say it's a year ago this week that we shut down like so many people did, and we reopened on June 23rd, and if my voice lasts through this, it'll be another miracle of the year. But I just want to thank a few people. It was a tough year, but we came through pretty well. First, this amazing staff, please raise your hands. You made everyone safe, you got the place reopened, and you kept the programming flowing. I mean, visitorship's been down, obviously, but what we've done online's been pretty amazing. Also, our patrons, I mean, all our members, everybody kept the money flowing in, kept the support, kept patting us on the back. I mean, that was extraordinary. And our Board of Trustees, please raise your hand. I'll recognize you all in a moment. You really helped steer this ship through some tough times. So, I'm going to get right to it. If I could have a drum roll, and we could... We are expanding the museum. It's the worst kept secret in Muskegon County. I don't know if my voice will survive, but
When you were closer to the
museum. Why? That's the first thing. It's a great museum. Many reasons. I mean, we are simply beyond capacity. We do 15 to 20 temporary exhibitions every year. By any museum standard, that's crazy. But we love to do it. The staff loves to do it, and that's what keeps the people in. It's what keeps things flowing. It keeps us who we are. It's what really sets us apart. This is also, one of the finest collections of art in the Midwest. It really is. And we have 5,000 pieces in the collection, over 5,000. We can only show maybe 150 at a time. And that's on a good day. Muskegon's art is on par with New York City's art. It's on par with Chicago's art. It's on par with Washington, D.C.'s art. And this is a community asset that we really need the capacity to exploit. So to that end, we need more galleries. We need more classrooms, education space. We just need workable storage, vault space, event space, the connecting spaces. This is kind of our main entrance. We face downtown, but we need the wow when you walk into the museum. So, Frank will go into a little more detail shortly, but this isn't a project that we just started a couple of years ago. I mean, this has been going on, an ongoing project for about 20 years. When we acquired the Medical Arts building here, the 2nd Street parking lot, we did the Inspire campaign, which really ensured financial stability, independence from the school system. And then in 2017, we decided to do exhibition that kind of garnered worldwide attention, if not national, and see what would happen if we could get a national audience in here. And with the Curtis exhibition, we got all 50 states, 29 countries, amazing success. We know we can do big things. We proved it, but when we want to get a big touring exhibition in here, the first thing they look at our square footage and say, no, we can't do Muskegon. So we need that big space to do those things. And we do have one coming in, which I'll mention in a moment. So we began planning this in earnest about 2018. And a little over a year ago, we started the silent campaign just before COVID hit with a $9.9 million goal, as you see on the board there. So as of today, I can say we are now at 7.3 million, as we announced publicly. Wow, thank you, Larry. That's 74% a goal, and that's see, even the geese are excited. I couldn't have timed that better. So I just want to take a moment before Frank comes up and talks a little bit about the goals of this project and talks a little bit about the major donors. It's just to thank so many people who have worked on this. And first of all, I just want to thank the Board of Trustees. I'll go through them here. Frank Benerick, of course, our fearless leader, who when he steps into a project, just, get 2 seatbelts on. Kim Van Kampen, our vice chair, has been so critical to this whole project. She is in Florida watching here on our Facebook channel. John Pridnia, our treasurer, he's in Florida watching on the... Claudia Berry, our secretary, is in Florida. Nancy Crandall's here. And she's on the campaign cabinet. She also chairs our development committee. And keep in mind, as we do this capital campaign, as successful as it's been so far, we still have to raise money for the operations of the museum through the year. And this year's goal was what, about $600,000? So thank you, Nancy. You're probably going to get a lot of asks to volunteer after this. Gail Davis, there she is. She is our chair of our education committee. Tom Dvorsny, Florida. Rob Dubois is our collections chair.
Yay,
Yeah, Rob's here somewhere. He helps us buy art, so if you have any complaints, talk to Rob. He's also chair of our personnel committee. Trip Johnson's Trip here today. I think he may have had a conflict. Trip chairs our facilities committee, and they have the daunting task of picking out an architect, which I'll talk a little bit more in a minute. Mike Olthoff couldn't be here today. Eric Ringelberg. Eric, are you here? Gil Segovia, I don't think he could make it today. John Swanson's watching from Florida, of course. Our board knows what to do in the wintertime. And John Wilson back there with DTE. Thank you for the coffee, John. John chairs our marketing committee, so if you see a billboard, thank Jonathan. So I want to talk a little bit about our campaign cabinet. We're a truly remarkable bunch. Our honorary co-chairs, John and Jane Blight. Carol Folkert, who we miss here every day. Larry Hines, Buzz and Wendy Kurzman, Chuck and Vivian Johnson, John Martin, who is here, Patrick O'Leary, Marge Potter, and again, Kim Van Kampen. Going into our campaign cabinet co-chairs, who are kind of leading the cheerleading here and rallying the troops to our monthly meetings. Frank Benerick, Claudia Berry, Judy Hayner, Trip Johnson, John Pridnia, and Gil Segovia. And the people who are really running out there, who you're all running from these days, our main cabinet members who are doing the asks. Sherry Becker, Billy Bruce, Nancy Crandall, Ann Dake, Tom Dvorsny, Rob Dubois, Bob Gerritsen. Is Bob here? Amy Heiser, I saw Amy. Tripp, Kathy Mott. Kathy's here, of course. She's always here. Josh Silvis and Jonathan Wilson. Josh is here also. So thank you all. And a quick mention to our endorsement council. We have Dave Alexander, Beth Beeman, Claudia Bryant, Jane Connell, Gail Davis, Friends of Art, Eric Johnson, representing North Ottawa here, Cindy Larson, Henry Matthews, Sue Ellen McCreary, the MMA docents, Irene Pearson, Tom and Elizabeth Tuttle, and Steve and Rebecca Westfall. And give them a round of applause because they did this during a truly tough year. Capital campaign on Zoom. It was very interesting. So now I'm going to bring up our chair of the Muskegon Museum of Art Foundation Board to give my voice a little bit of a break. We'll talk a little bit more about the expansion, what we hope to accomplish for the city, for the region, and talk a little bit about some of our donors.
Well, welcome everybody, and thank you so much for coming. It's truly appreciated. I know you're all fans, and I know it's a little cold, so I'm going to make this a little brief. But bear with me, there are some things that I'd like to mention. First of all, we have some former trustees here, and if you would raise your hand, I know that we have several of them in the audience and they're big supporters, so thank you very much for coming as well. We are term limited in this museum, so they'd probably still be with us if we didn't have to end the terms, and they're really helpful. The other thing that I would like to mention is that to do this project, Kirk mentioned several things, but what we needed is a good staff and a good leadership, and I want to thank Kirk for all the work he's done so far. And we're really appreciative of that. It's day and night, weekend, whatever. We really have been working hard to make this happen, and it is going to happen. We know it's going to happen. It's just, and it's going to be how do we realize the dream? And we have that distance to go. We have a little bit to go. But the big critical thing that Kirk didn't mention that we had to have before we could do anything was this alley. And we have the mayor of Muskegon here, and thank you, Mayor. You made this happen. We own the alley from that yellow line to this yellow line, and now we can grow. And that was a very, very significant thing. It took us about 1.5 years to do it, but we got it done. I found in the area where you have to get approvals through the government agencies, I sort of know that. It takes a little while to do it. So getting to the point of what we're really trying to do here, this expansion is for Muskegon. It's not for any one of us. It's really for Muskegon. It's for the region. This is an institution that has worldwide appeal. It's going to change. It's a game changer for Muskegon. It's a game changer for us. It's a game changer for the museum. But what we've learned as we continue to work with this museum is that we have to change it to be relevant too. You know, in 1912, when this place was built, every little picture was about this size, and they moved around on a horse and carriage, you know, and whatever. And now the pictures are the size of this building, so we have to change, and we have to be with what's happening in the world. And we also have to stay relevant in our community so we continue to attract the attendance and the support that we need. So the expansion has a lot of relevance to us today, and it's going to, what we're about is trying to sustain this museum for the next 100 years. So please take a look at this material that the staff has put together, and there's plenty of these brochures here. Talk it up with your friends, talk it up with your neighbors, and we're gonna do it. So we appreciate all your help. And the one last thing that I would like to mention is that we've had some extremely strong support thus far. And I'm not going to read the whole list. We have about 200 contributors so far. But you know, we have Ken Van Kampen, we have Mrs. Shaw Walker, we have the Fry Foundation, we have the Halmet Foundation, we have the late Carol Folkert, we have Stephen Elaine Bennett. All of these people have given over 6 figures to this campaign and are enthusiastic about supporting it. So we need more help, but we've had a lot of good and generous people come forward and do it. Kirk's going to talk a little bit about Larry Hines and the Hines Foundation as we close here, but we want to thank everybody for their support. Every one of you and all of our donors are really, really appreciated. Thank you again, and we look forward to you being here when we dig the dirt this fall.
Speaking of donors, I do want to mention Amy Heiser. I don't know if everyone realizes, even though Halmet came in very big for us. Through Amy's advocacy of Muskegon, Halmet in the past year has donated, Halmet Foundation, Aerospace Foundation, close to $1 million to nonprofits in Muskegon in 2020 alone. I mean, that's amazing. Amy's also on our development committee. Is Larry Hines or anyone from Hines Corp is here? Hello.
Diane's here. Yeah, Diane's here.
Larry's done something very generous. We have a match for the public portion of the campaign, the non-foundation public portion of the campaign. As we go public, Hines Corporation will match every dollar we raise in the public campaign up to $250,000. So thank you so much, Larry. Thank you, Hines Corporation. as I mentioned earlier, the Facilities Committee's been doing an incredible job. I think one of the things that show how important this project is, when we put an RFQ out across the country to solicit architectural firms, we had 33 responses from firms, from people who built the Museum of Modern Art to major institutions across the country. So for the past month, and especially last week, it was pretty grueling. We got it down to between 4 and 6, and any one of them is going to make Muskegon a magnificent building. Out of those 6, we just got to see which one's the best fit. But not very long from now, you're all going to be standing in a magnificent art museum where you are right now. So we'll keep working onto that. And again, thanks to the city. It's been a lot of work to get the alley vacated, and every utility known to man goes through this alley right here. And we'll be doing that. Next step is getting the poles moved here. And Warner Norcross and Brian, you guys been doing a terrific job on the legal and all that. So hopefully this summer we'll see some poles be moved. What's the timeline looking at? As Frank mentioned, we will be back here in the fall for a groundbreaking, and hopefully by the summer of 2023, if all goes well, we'll have a building and we can celebrate it at Gala. So how can you help? We have these journals. Half of them are about the campaign. There's a pledge card inside. All the details that what we've been passing around for the silent campaign are in here. Flip it over and you'll see what we're doing for the next 3 months. Scan your coffee cup. You can drive by, scan that QR code. But most importantly, talk to myself, Frank, any of the trustees or cabinet members you see here. You'll hear more and more about it. We're going to make it as easy as possible to give. So we also, I want to mention, we have funds at the Community Foundation for Muskegon County and the Grand Haven Area Community Foundation. Is Heidi or Todd here from the, there's Heidi over there from the Muskegon Community Foundation, and we know Hadley's here from Grand Haven, so you can also talk to them. Thank you very much. One thing I want to mention is that the staff's been pretty busy, and this campaign's kind of eclipsed what we like to do here, so I'm just going to briefly tell you what's going on here for the next 18 months. Of course, we have the Bennett Prize, round 2. If you go to any Barnes & Noble in the country and pick up Fine Art Connoisseur magazine or any of the really glossy art magazines, you can see full-page ads from the Muskegon Museum of Art and the Bennett Prize. We really hit the art community, but we're gonna give away $50,000 to a deserving female artist in May. It'll be up all summer, and we'll have all our exhibitions are going to be dedicated to women artists. A women glass show, a women from the permanent collection. It'll be fantastic. This fall, we're doing another Curtis exhibition in cooperation with the family of Edward Curtis. We are going to show photographs the public no one has seen before of his final journey into Alaska. So that'll be terrific. And then this over the winter, we're turning the big galleries into a 9-hole mini golf course, art golf course you can play. We'll have a 10th hole with a bar, so that'll be great. And then in June of 2022, for the summer, we're opening the Downton Abbey show. All the costumes and props from Downton Abbey. It's going to make its Midwest appearance here. So that's kind of what we want to do with the big stuff. So we're still programming, we're still moving ahead, and you'll see bigger and bigger things coming with a bigger museum. So thanks for all your support. Thanks for coming out. I've wasted my voice and wasted too much of your time. So the museum's free today. If you want to, come on in and look around. We got some great exhibitions. And thanks again for coming out. You'll hear a lot more in the coming months. Thank you.